Bonjour, everyone. My name is Lukas. I'm from SAFE, and actually didn't know that Konrad is going to give that talk before me. So consider half of my talk going to be duplicate at this point. Yeah, I'm trying to give a little bit of a different spin to the topic of modular smart accounts, and also talk a bit about what SAFE wants to do in that space, what we've been doing in the past. Right. I mean, at this point, I think it's pretty accepted that we need to move the ecosystem to smart contract wallets. We call them smart accounts. Yeah, Vitalik Buterin put out this blog post saying that quite explicitly, if we don't manage to bring everyone to smart contract wallets, Ethereum is going to fail. And I believe similarly. And it's quite exciting to see all the adoption of the ecosystem of account abstraction and the different teams starting to build on that. And of course, from SAFE side, it's quite exciting to see the growth of the ecosystem, different projects integrating with the SAFE smart accounts, leveraging its functionality and kind of the adoption continuing to grow. Just curious from the audience here, quick show of hands, who's using SAFE? Okay. I guess makes the point that smart contract wallets is not something of the future. It's actually happening right now, and the adoption is here. That's good to see. Not going too much into this because pretty much Konrad's talk was all about why we should move to modular smart accounts. Just in case someone joined later, I will give still a little bit of a brief summary of that. But the point being that when we build smart contract wallets, we shouldn't build these static smart accounts that do something, like have a very static logic, but we should actually think of them more like the iPhone, which has maybe a base, but then you can extend the logic through plugins, through apps, through the kind of additional logic you can just pull into your account. And yeah, the key reasons why this is important, one is composability. Yeah, whenever you write smart contracts, you want to write as little code as possible and try to reuse as much as possible, just because it reduces the risk of introducing it like smart contract bugs. And it's in general what makes Web3 exciting is that you have these different pieces and you can build upon them, you can combine them in new ways. And the composability of smart accounts will just unleash a lot of innovation. And then it's the customizable nature. When you make smart accounts modular, it means that you can customize them to the needs of the specific users. You don't have to anticipate exactly what the user wants, but the user can start somewhere, maybe over time have different preferences in terms of features, security, risk appetite, etc. And then, of course, security. When you modularize smart contracts, it means that you have you can deal with the different components by their own, so you have some level of separation of concerns and can just implement security features in a way that address the different parts the best. And adaptability, so you can adapt a smart account over time. You're not locked into one system and have to move all your assets from a multi-sig smart account to something that's more, I don't know, like a DAO Treasury smart account when the team is starting to decentralize, but you actually have the capability to change the logic of the account over time. Yeah, and SAFE has been building modular smart accounts since 2017, like launching 2018. So the SAFE has from the beginning been envisioning that this is needed, that there needs to be some way to extend the logic and not have like a static smart account from the beginning. So we call them guards, modules, and fallback handlers. They serve different purposes. For example, a module, you can like add additional logic to your account. This can be a spending limits feature, it can be a social recovery feature. A guard, on the other hand, is like a hook that gets triggered every time you do a transaction, and that can check the transaction for like additional requirements, parameters. We can implement a risk assessment, like an on-chain risk assessment solution with that. You can, like the Yearn team, build some MEV protection system using guards. And then finally, fallback handlers. It's just a way to handle arbitrary function calls, which makes the account more adaptable to the changing environments of Web3. So yeah, SAFE has been quite well known for the multi-signature feature, which we consider like a killer feature that we saw for smart accounts, a way to have multiple keys control account together. Obviously helpful for teams and DAOs, but also very helpful for individuals where they want to have additional security in their account, such as like a two-factor authentication system. But yeah, through its adaptability, there's actually ways to extend the logic of your safe smart account with permissioning systems, with gas abstraction, with fraud monitoring, hierarchies. Some of them have been built already. Some of them hopefully will be built soon. But yeah, that's kind of how we see safe. And throughout the last years, we saw some of the things we need to do in order to make modular smart accounts successful, and Konrad has been going into these as well. One is interoperability. That's a cool thing about private key-based accounts. They're super interoperable. You can you just have a seed phrase, and immediately you have an account on all chains. It's supported by every wallet, and dApps and tooling and everything knows how to support it. When we have smart accounts that have additional logic, we need to make sure that we don't lose that. We need to make sure that we don't create vendor lock-ins where you have a modular smart account system which then only works, like the plugins only work for one smart account and cannot be transported to others, which would create like duplicate work and just reduce the composability. And then discovery is also a critical aspect. It's cool if there's like a ton of plugins out there, but there's no way to find them, to know what they do, what functionality they have. So we need to find ways to make them discoverable to developers as well as users. And finally, the security aspect, which for us is the main thing we focus on, obviously as a, like it's in our name, safe. So we need to make sure that when we have these plugins and like we are able to extend the functionality of the safe, that people actually trust these plugins, because they could come from third-party developers and people might trust one development team, but then they are expected to trust a completely different one. So how can we enable modular smart accounts to have the same level of security guarantees like your kind of base account? And there's some initiatives that target some of this. One recent one is ERC 6900, which tries to standardize these plugins and make them more interoperable across smart accounts. So that solves or aims to solve the interoperability part, but it does not yet solve the security and discoverability part. So that's where we want to propose an approach, also quite aligned, I think, with what Rhinestone is doing, of how do we bring the different components in modular smart accounts together. And this is really the meat of the presentation. This is, I think, where we also like to get feedback from all of you. In the end, we have these three major components. One is the account, then we have the integrations, and then we have registries. Starting with the accounts, obviously we build our own smart account, but in the end, it is expected that there will be different implementations of smart accounts that maybe do different trade-offs, different focuses, and they should all be able to plug into this protocol. Then you have on the other side the integrations. These are really the things that extend the logic of your account. These are the cool things that you hear about recovery, about safety guards, etc. And they should be somehow standardized so that each of the accounts in this system can seamlessly work together with these integrations. And finally, we have the registries, which is what also Konrad talked about in terms of like curating these integrations. And this can really range from registries that focus more on security aspect. So say there's like a super high level security bar where every integration in this registry, which acts like marketplaces or app stores, have gone through like an audit, they have bug bounty, form verification, or maybe there's more experimental registries that give you the latest and greatest integrations. Or it might be more use case specific registries, so like a DAO tooling marketplace, or more institutional focus compliance registries, I don't know. But the key point about what we want to do is have a protocol that's actually agnostic into each of these directions. So it should work that you can come with any kind of smart account that supports the account interface. You are able to support the integrations that maybe, like if ERC 6900 is getting more matured and adopted, enforce this standard for integrations. And yeah, you can work with different kinds of registries, so you don't have a vendor lock-in to either of these sites. Yeah. So that's what we think will enable also the security and discoverability aspects, and also be able to enforce the interoperability a bit stronger. And yeah, a little bit of alpha here. This protocol, we're not going to do like big announcements just yet, but we want to get feedback as early as possible, because this is going to be an ecosystem initiative to make this right. So we've been working closely with the Rhinestone team already, with other smart account providers, but this is really going to be something where we need as much feedback as possible. So we didn't want to wait until it's fully fleshed out to get that feedback. At this point, still we had to make a compromise, and it's sort of opinionated towards a safe smart account, because we can just speed up the process there. But again, long term, the vision is that this protocol is account agnostic. It's not production ready, so don't ship any final solutions to users. It's more meant for developers, hackers, etc. It's obviously fully open source, like everything we do at SAFE, and we are seeking the community feedback. Check the QR code here if you want to read the specs. I will also have it later again. And then finally, if any of you is going to be going to ETH Global Paris, we will have a bounty where we explicitly want to build people to build on this protocol, just experiment with it, build protocol compliant accounts, integrations, registries, and just see what's possible there, where the places for innovations are. 10K in prices up for grabs. Yeah, here's again the two QR codes in case you missed it. So in the end, we want to build an open modular framework to make all smart accounts secure, portable, and composable. And yeah, again, it is going to be an ecosystem initiative. We don't want to make something that only helps save smart accounts. Of course, we think it's going to be bringing value to that as well. But in the end, it's an open framework which we want to establish. So yeah, that's it.
No Q&A session as